Hi guys, here I am again. Yay! Alright, so today is chapter 20. Let's see. When I told Gloria Dump about Otis and how he got arrested, she laughed so hard she had to grab hold of her false teeth so they wouldn't fall out of her mouth. "Whee!" she said when she finally got done laughing. "That sure is a dangerous criminal." "He's a lonely man," I told her. "He just wants to play his music for somebody." Gloria wiped her eyes, and with the hem of her dress, "I know it's sugar," she said, "but sometimes things are just as sad as they get to be funny." "You know what else?" I said. I was still thinking about sad things. "The girl I told you about, the pinch-faced one, Amanda, well, her brother drowned last year. He was only 5 years old, the same age as Sweetie Pie Thomas." Oh, that's so sad. Gloria stopped smiling and she nodded her head. "I remember hearing about that," she said. "I remember hearing about a little drowned boy. That's why Amanda's so pinch-faced," I told her. "She misses her brother." "Most likely," Gloria agreed. "Do you think everybody misses somebody? Like I miss Mama?" Said Gloria. She closed her eyes. "I believe sometimes the whole world's heart is just aching. Kind of like I miss you guys a lot. A whole bunch I miss you. And you know who's going to miss you next week? Miss Pointer. She's going to miss you." I couldn't stand to think about sad things that couldn't be helped anymore. So I said, "Do you want to hear some more Gone with the Wind?" "Yes, indeed," Gloria said. "I've been looking forward to it all day. Let's see what Miss Scarlet is up to now." I opened up Gone with the Wind and started to read, but the whole time I was thinking about Otis, worrying about him not being allowed to play his guitar for people. Or in the book, Scarlet was looking forward to going to the big barbecue where there was going to be music and food. But that's how I got the idea. "And that's what I need to do," I said. I slammed the book shut. Winn Dixie's head shot up from underneath Gloria's chair. He looked around all nervous like. "Huh?" said Gloria Dump. "Have a party," I told her. "We need to have a party and invite Miss Franny Block and the preacher and Otis can play his guitar for everybody. Sweetie Pie can come too. She can listen to his good music." "We who?" Gloria asked. "We, me, and you. We can make some food and have a party right here in your yard. We can make peanut butter sandwiches and cut them up in triangles to make them all fancy. And, Lord," said Gloria Dump, "I don't know how in the world who likes peanut butter as much as you and me and the dog." "Okay, then," I said. "We can make egg salad sandwiches. Adults like those." "You know how to make egg salad?" "No, ma'am," I said. "I don't have a mama around to teach me these things like that. But I bet you know how. I bet you could teach me. Please." "Maybe," said Gloria Dump. She put her hand on Winn Dixie's head and she smiled at me. I knew she was telling me yes. "Thank you," I said. I went over and I hugged her and I squeezed her hard, and Winn Dixie just wagged his tail and tried to get in between the two of us. He couldn't stand left being out of anything. "It's going to be the best party ever," I told Gloria. "You got to make one promise though," Gloria said. "All right," I told her. "You got to invite them Drewberry boys." "Dunlap and Stevie?" "Ain't gonna be no party unless you invite them boys." "I have to?" "Yes," said Gloria Dump. "You promise me." I promise. I don't like the idea, but I promised. I started inviting people right away, and I asked Preacher first. "Daddy," I said. "Opal," the preacher said back. "Daddy, me and Winn Dixie and Gloria Dump, we're going to have a party." "Well," said the preacher, "that's nice. I hope you have a good time." "Daddy," I said, "I'm telling you because you're invited." "Oh," said the preacher, and he rubbed his nose. "I see." "Can you come?" I asked. "I don't see why not," he said. Miss Franny Block took right to the idea. "A party?" she said. She clapped her hands together. "Yes, ma'am," I told her. "It'll be the kind of barbecue at 12 Oaks and Gone with the Wind. Only it's not going to be as many people, and we're going to serve egg salad sandwiches instead of barbecue." Well, that sounds lovely, Miss Franny said, and then she pointed at the back of the library and whispered, maybe you should ask Amanda, too. She probably won't want to come, I said. She doesn't like me very much. Ask her and see what she says, Miss Franny whispered. So I walked to the back of the library and I asked Amanda Wilkinson in my best mannered voice to please come to my party, and she looked all around and nervous, as if someone was watching. A party? She said. Yeah, I said, and I sure would like it if you would come. She stared at me with her mouth open. Okay, she said after a minute. Yes, thank you. I would love to. And just like I promised Gloria, I asked the Drewberry boys. I ain't going to no party at some witch's house, Stevie said. Dunlap knocked Stevie in his elbow. We'll come, he said. We will not, said Stevie. That witch might cook us up in her big old witch's pot. I don't care if you come or not, I told them. I'm just asking because I promised I would. We'll be there, said Dunlap, and he nodded and smiled. Sweetie Pie was very excited when I invited her. What's the theme? She said. Well, there isn't one, I said. You gotta think of a theme, she said. She stuck her knuckle to her mouth and pulled it back out. It ain't a party without a theme. Is the dog coming? She asked. She wrapped arms around Winn Dixie and squeezed him so hard his eyes almost popped out of his head. Yes, I told her. Good, she said. I could make that theme. It could be a dog party. I'll have to think about that, I told her. The last person I asked was Otis. I told him all about the party and that he was invited, and he said, no, thank you. And I said, why not? And you know what he said? I don't like parties. Please, I begged. It won't be a party unless you come. I'll give you a whole free week of sweeping and arranging and dusting. If you come to the party, that's what I'll do. A whole week for free? Otis said, looking up. Yes, sir, I told him. But I don't have to talk to people, right? No, sir, I said. You don't. Just bring your guitar. Maybe you could play us some music. Maybe, said Otis. He looked down at his boots again real quick and tried to hide his smile. Thank you, I told him. Thank you for deciding to come. Okay. Ooh, good chapters. I like this. Chapter 22. After I got Otis convinced to come, the rest of getting ready for the party was easy and fun. Me and Gloria, you know how I hate that, decided to have the party at night when it would be cooler. And the afternoon before, we worked on Gloria's kitchen and made egg salad sandwiches. We cut them up in triangles and cut up the crust and put little toothpicks with really little tops on them. And then when Dixie sat in the kitchen and he looked at us the whole time and he just kept on wagging his tail. The dog thinks we's making these sandwiches for him, said Gloria Dump. These ain't for you, she told him when Dixie showed Gloria all of his teeth. But then she thought I wasn't looking. I gave Winn Dixie an egg salad sandwich without a toothpick. We also made punch. We mixed together orange juice and grapefruit and soda in a big bowl, and Gloria called it Dump Punch. She said it was world famous for it, but I'd never heard of it before. The last thing we did was decorate the yard all. I strung up pink and orange and yellow crepe papers on trees to make it look fancy. See, I came in here because there's a tree. Visualize, see the tree. And they hung up all that stuff, all those lanterns hanging from the tree. So that's why I wanted you guys to remember that. We also filled up paper bags with sand and put candles in them. And right before it was time for the party to start, I went outside and lit all the candles. It turned Gloria Dump's yard into a fairyland. Said Gloria Dump, looking around. Even somebody with bad eyes can tell it looks good. It did look pretty. It looked so pretty that it made my heart feel funny and swollen and full, and I wished desperately that I knew there was Mama was here so she could be in the party too. Miss Franny Block was the first person to arrive, and she was wearing a pretty green dress with all shiny and shimmery, and she had on high-heel shoes that made her wobble back and forth when she walked, and even when she was standing still, she still kind of swayed, like she was standing on a boat. She was carrying a big glass bowl full of voluminous lozenges. I bought a little after-dinner treat, she said, holding the bowl to me. Thank you. And I put the bowl on the table next to the egg salad sandwich and the punch. And then I introduced Miss Franny to Gloria, and they shook hands and said polite things to each other. And then Sweetie Pie's mother came over with Sweetie Pie. Sweetie Pie had a whole handful of pictures of dogs that she cut out from magazines. And it's to help with your theme, she said. You can use them to decorate. And I brung tape, too. And she started going around taping pictures of dogs to the trees and to the chairs and to the tables. She ain't talked about nothing but this party all day long, her mother said. Can you walk her home when it's over with? I promised that I would. And then I introduced Sweetie Pie to Miss Franny and to Miss Gloria. And right after that, the preacher showed up, and he was wearing the coat and the tie and looked real serious. And he shook Gloria Dump's hand and said to Miss Franny Block's hand, and said how pleased he was to meet them both, and now he had heard nothing but good things about them. He patted Sweetie Pie on the head and said it was good to see her outside of church. And the whole time, Winn Dixie was standing right in the middle of everyone, wagging his tail so hard that I thought for sure he would knock Miss Franny right off her high heels. Amanda Wilkinson came, and she had her blonde hair all curled up, and she looked shy and not mean as usual. And I stood real close to her and introduced her to Gloria Dump, and I was surprised to see how glad she was to see Amanda. And I wanted to tell her about Carson. I wanted to tell her about understanding about losing people, but I didn't say anything. I was just extra, extra nice. And with all that standing around and smiling and smothering and acting and kind of nervous with a real screechy voice, she said, Gertrude is a pretty bird. Winn Dixie's ears went straight up on his head, and he barked around and looked once, and I looked too. But I didn't see Gertrude or Otis. I'll be right back, I said to everyone. Me and Winn Dixie went running around the front of the house, and sure enough, there standing in the sidewalk was Otis. He had his guitar on his back and Gertrude on his shoulder, and in his hands he was holding the biggest jar of pickles I'd ever seen in my life. Otis, I said to him, come around back, that's where the party is. Oh, he said, but he didn't move. He stood there holding his jar of pickles. Dog, screeched Gertrude. She flew off Otis's shoulder and landed on Winn Dixie's head. It's all right, Otis, I told him. It's just a few people, hardly anyone at all. Oh, said Otis. He looked around like he was lost, and then he held up a jar of pickles. I brought pickles, he said. I saw them, I said. It's just exactly what he needed. They will go perfect with the egg salad sandwich. I talked to him real soft and gentle and low, like he was a wild animal. And then I was trying to get to take food out of my hand. He took one tiny step forward. Come on, I whispered. I started walking, and Winn Dixie followed me. And when I turned around, I saw Otis following me, too. I wonder if Otis is going to go into the party. And I wonder if they're going to have a really good time. And I wonder what's going to happen in that party, don't you? Oh, I can't wait. And I know you're going to be excited to know tomorrow. Because guess who's reading to you tomorrow? Wah! And guess who's feeling better? Wah! And guess who's coming back Monday? Wah! I cannot wait to see you guys. Be good for Miss Boyner today. I've heard great things about you guys. I've heard you're on your excellent behavior. I've heard that your hallway behavior is better than when I left, so kudos to you. I am so proud of each and every one of you, and I love you, and I cannot wait to see you and hug you and squeeze you so tight that I just squeeze the life right out of you. And then I bring it back because I got to teach you. All right, guys. I love you. I'll see you later. Be good for Miss Boyner. Please be good for Miss Boyner, because when you're good for her, you're good for me. Love you. Bye.